But those people don't like you or puppies. They, in fact, want puppies to eat grains, too.
They do.
And the little puppies don't want grains.
They do not. It's not a proper puppy diet. Well, a warm welcome to you all. This video is about the mistakes you can make when priming on the carnivore diet. I'm JJ. I'm a life coach and I eat mostly meat.
I'm Eric. I'm a novelist and I eat mostly meat. And I almost did priming for half a second once.
This is kind of my second round of priming that I'm just completing right now. And I found it to be very different from the first one. So
You did?
Yeah, I did.
But you figured out that there were some pitfalls.
There definitely were some pitfalls around priming. And let me set the stage. The first time I started priming, I was intrigued by it because Bella, the steak and butter gal, she would talk about it in her videos, which you've probably seen. And I was very intrigued by this concept.
So what is it?
You're designating a time period where you are going to eat 3 carnivore meals a day. And I'll go into that a little bit more. And you're going to eat till comfortably stuffed. You're not worrying about weight loss or anything else but nourishing your body toward this time. So basically, you're setting a firm foundation for what might come next, which might be eating windows or longer term fasting.
Okay.
So yeah, really creating that. Now, this came about because Bella was a vegan for many years before entering the carnivore realm. And so she felt like her body was extremely undernourished when she came to carnivore. So she was not in it at first to lose weight or do anything but get that nourishment.
Well, it makes sense to me for a vegan especially, but if you're eating the sad American diet, you're going to be undernourished because you're eating stuff that isn't even food, like seed oils, highly processed carbohydrates,
Grains.
Grains, beans, all kinds of things that many people will say are really good for you, and you should base the whole foundation of your diet should be based on them. But those people don't like you or puppies. They, in fact, want puppies to eat grains too.
They do.
And the little puppies don't want grains.
They do not. It's not a proper puppy diet.
The PPD. We should make up some PPD shirts.
We should. So I've heard some carnivores really criticize priming because they see it as, why aren't you listening to your satiety signals? You should just be eating till you're hungry eating till you're full and then not eating again till you're hungry again. And if that's 2 days, that's 2 days. Or, there is some criticism from really respected people in the community around forcing yourself to eat. Now, again, when I saw these videos, I really bought into the nourishment piece. I was like, oh, I can see where this might be a really nice spot where you can do controlled nourishment. So I think that's where the mistake comes in, is when people assume it's just this huge binge fest.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's really taking some time to nourish your body.
So you're in a priming phase now.
I am.
And how long has that been going on?
2 weeks. I'm almost to the 2-week mark.
And you're going to do it for longer?
No, I think I'm going to be done at 2 weeks.
So what prompted you to want to start?
Right. So the first time I did it, I was just intrigued by it. And this time I was ravenous all the time this summer. And you were the one who said, hey, this might sound obvious, and you'd known I've been ravenous for a few days. You're like, maybe you need to prime. So my theory is that maybe I was under eating or over fasting, just not giving my body what it needed. And I was doing fine for a couple of years almost. Everything was good. And then all of a sudden I felt hunger.
I just watched this video with Carrie from Homestead How doing the 6 stages of carnivore.
Okay.
And one of those stages was you get ravenously hungry.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I think you hit stage, I don't remember, 4 or 5. But
Yeah.
And he said it lasted a little while and he just ate more.
Which is what I was doing, but my eating more felt very reactive at that point. It felt like I was just scouring the cabinets, trying to find anything I could to shove in my mouth, and being really tempted when out and about to eat things that are not food.
So that's not good.
So that's not good. Yeah, the sugar cravings were real, and that's not something I deal with a whole lot. So when you mentioned priming, I thought, okay, yes, you're right. You hear me? I said, you're right.
I love it. It's on video.
It's on video.
It's going to be my ringtone.
But I thought, let me take some time to do some controlled priming. And there are certain guidelines around priming. I don't want to go into everything. I mean, this is not my work. This is the work of Bella and her coaches, Raymond and Emily and the rest. I believe Coach Raymond came up with the concept. So I don't want to give you everything, but I will mention some of the things that I've noticed that maybe I did wrong or that might be a trap.
Okay, so what is the first trap that sabotages your priming?
Yeah. The first thing is to be looking at the scale. And they tell you right off the bat, put away the scale when you're priming, because this is not a time to be concerned about your weight loss. This is a time to be nourishing your body. So just put it away. Now, did I put away the scale?
Well, I know exactly where it is, so you didn't put it away. I don't know. Did you not stand on it?
No, I actually did weigh myself during the 2 weeks of priming. But I did it because we have a YouTube channel. And I thought that I might want to report on my experience with it to you. But I knew it wasn't going to be a psychological glitch for me, that I was prepared to gain weight in this amount of time, no matter what. And I gained about 3 pounds in the 2 weeks. Sometimes it popped up to 5 pounds, but it's consistently been a 3-pound weight gain, which isn't huge. And like I said, I was totally fine with that because I really wanted to focus on breaking through this period of time where my body felt like it was struggling for nutrition.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the second one?
Well, I would say the second one is don't use priming to actually cheat. And I think, again, that's where some of the other experts get a little weird about priming, is they think it's a license to binge, a license to eat whatever you want. And it really, and whenever you want, and ignore your satiety cues. And really, it is about eating carnivore foods, still maintaining your carnivore diet. And they do have guidelines around it. So in the first week, they do allow some snacking, which is new since the first time I primed, and I liked it. It was, no, I did. I can mention that in a moment. But you've got some restrictions, and you're supposed to, after that first week, you're eating 3 meals a day, period. You aren't just snacking all the time. And when I was experiencing this hunger, intense hunger, I was snacking all day long because I felt so hungry. Now, like I said, they have a snacking rule. That first week you're allowed, if within the first hour of eating, if you finished your meal and you find you're still hungry after that first hour, that's your period to snack. So you're still not snacking willy-nilly all day long. But I found that to be true, that there were some times when I'd finish my meal and I'd be like 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, no, I'm still hungry. And I would go back and snack.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the third trap?
The third trap is skipping the fat. Yes. So you do want to make sure that you are eating enough fat when you are priming to get those satiety signals in the right direction so that you can feel comfortably full, comfortably satisfied, and not feel, like I said, you've got during that first week, you have an hour when you can go back and get a snack. But if you're not eating enough fat, you're going to be hungry between meals.
Yeah.
Now, they do caution against rendered fat. Some people, especially who are new to carnivore, have an issue with liquid fat. I didn't ever have that issue, it seemed. So beware of the fat you're eating, but don't skip it. Don't skip it. Make sure you're getting enough.
All right. And I think we're on to number 4.
Number 4 is don't ignore your satiety signals. So the first time I primed, I had been carnivore for a while at that point too, maybe a year and a half. And so I was thinking about when I sit down and I eat a pound of meat, that I was going to have to eat 3 meals a day that looked like my carnivore meals of roughly a pound of meat. Now, at this point, I was eating twice a day. So, I would total 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of meat most days. And so I was trying to do that same volume in 3 sittings. And I felt awful. I did not complete my first 2 weeks of priming. I got about 10 days in because I felt so stuffed all the time. Now, this is a bit of the point. Coach Raymond will say, by the time you're done priming, you're ready to do some fasting. You're like, oh, I've had enough food. But I was just overstuffed all the time. Okay. So this time around, what it looked like is my first 2 meals would be larger, and that third one would be a smaller meal because my satiety signals were saying, you know what, you don't need a pound of meat for your third meal of the day.
So if you're forcing it down and gagging, that's a bad sign.
Right. You don't have to be force feeding yourself and gagging. It's about being comfortably stuffed. Okay. And that's going to vary during the 2-week period and vary during the day.
If you're enjoying these tips, you know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe. Because, this is content from someone else. But we're giving you our take on it, and which means JJ's giving you her take because I'm not doing it.
No, you're not doing it, but you suggested it.
I did.
So you knew enough about it.
So basically, I'm doing it.
Basically, yeah.
What's the 5th error in priming?
The 5th error is to stay in priming mode too long or too little. Too long or too little.
Well, how do you know which?
Well, it is a little bit of an experiment, and I really want to talk about how you don't have to be in black and white thinking. So I set out to be in this priming mode for 2 weeks was my goal. And if I'm like 2 weeks and I'm done, that's it. My body might not be done. So priming is about learning to hear the signals in your body again, to nourish your body so that your satiety signals, your fullness, your hunger are working correctly. So it's not about staying in too long where you're ready for the next phase of fasting or eating window, which they walk you through. You should be ready for that at that point. Your body's ready. If you overstay, you're just cheating. That's cheating, really. Right? You're just like, I'm liking this 3 meals a day. I'm going to keep on going, right?
It sounds though like most people hit a threshold where they're just like, no, I'm done.
And so you also don't want to do too little where you're not to that threshold. So for me, I'm nearing my threshold at this point, and they have guidance around that too. You should be ready. You shouldn't be white knuckling it by the time you're done. You should hit that threshold you're talking about where you're like, no, I'm ready, where 2 meals a day or whatever would be perfect for me. And that's why I know I'm about done, is that I'm feeling well fed. I'm not feeling gross. I'm not feeling overfed. I'm feeling well fed and like I can move back into my old carnivore lifestyle of 2 meals a day. Now, here's where the black and white thinking goes, though. If I'm still hungry at the end of this, if I try this a few days and I'm like, this isn't working for me, I'm going back to priming.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not done yet.
And the fact that you're gaining weight, I would be very curious to see your body composition. Because I just have some skepticism, whatever that word is, skepticism that you're just putting on only fat during this phase.
That is true as well. They really say pay attention to your body composition as well. Now, I stepped on the scale for you. Not for me at all. I didn't do any other measurements prior to priming. But I do notice I'm wearing my skinny jeans today, they're pretty dang big. So I don't, and I feel like I wear them frequently. They feel really big today. So you might be right. There may have been some body recomp that I'm not even totally aware of.
Yeah, it could happen.
Yeah, because I didn't measure that.
I can't think of any other explanation.
No, yeah. So I'm really a proponent of it at this point. I feel like it gave me a controlled nourishment window when I felt like I needed it the most. And it didn't even occur to me. And now that that's happened and you suggested it, I feel like I have this tool in my toolbox in the future whenever I feel like, oh, I'm just feeling kind of undernourished, underfed, undernourished.
Well, my approach is not to prime. I have my eating window, but if it's outside of the eating window and I'm really hungry, I just eat.
Which I did too. I mean, I wasn't that strict, but the signals my body were giving me were new.
Just ravenous
all the time. And I had recently been counting calories and macros as an experiment to make sure I was eating enough. And it seemed like I was.
Yeah.
But apparently I was not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know if any of our audience has done priming ever and what their experience has been with it. So please, in the comments, let us know and share that with other people because they may be curious about it.
And I would really encourage you, if you are interested in priming, to go join the community, Bella's community, Steak and Butter Gang, even just for a month. Get the information from them. I'm not the expert on it. I'm just giving you my experience with it. But they have the community, so they have all the resources and the coaches who can really help you answer your questions. And again, don't take other experts who might be dogging on it. Don't take their word for gospel. If you're intrigued with it, try it yourself. And if your body is crying out for it, try it yourself.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.